What's good, fam? Welcome to another DCIAA season preview. As always, y'all know I'm your host, Chris Dunlap, here as always with my special guest co-host, Unison brand owner, KP. KP, what's up, bro?
What's up with you?
That's all good, man. You know, with everything closed down and everything we're dealing with this COVID-19 experience, you know, we kind of kicking it back, like going on vacation a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we cooling today.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Good vibes, you know.
So right now, if you guys are excited for this, I want you to smash the like button. And of course, if you haven't, I invite you to subscribe right here to TSDN because we'll have you covered all year, especially when we get going with athletics, especially when we get going with football. We'll have you guys covered throughout the season. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for updates so you don't miss none of the action. Now, usually at this point in the show, we would be getting ready to look back at last year, the last year's football season. But KP, you know something, man? I'm so excited even before, you know, we got all the announcements of when athletics will start. I was excited, and I'm still am excited about this football season. I think it's gonna be so lit. We're gonna jump right into looking at the upcoming season.
You're gonna change it up.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna switch it up a little bit.
That's a bet.
So here's what the rundown is gonna be, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna give you an in-depth preview of the upcoming 2020 DCIAA football season. You're gonna hear from the two championship winning programs from last year. And then of course, it's prediction time. I'm the prediction guy, so you know I got that coming to you.
Should be fun.
What you think about that, man? You like that?
Should be fun, you know. Chris predictions is, you know, some people ain't really happy on Chris predictions all the time. It'd be fun to me though.
Yeah, and I'm glad you say it's fun because we're going to your old stomping grounds. We're gonna talk about the Dunbar Crimson Tide to kick this thing off. So, the question coming into this season, man, is will we get a Crimson Tide two-peat? What do you think?
Dunbar brought it home. First championship since 2011.
Yep.
You know, it was great. I think this year's, you know, they in the driver's seat. They probably got the most kids coming back. You know, Coach Bink done great with the program. I think I said it on the show that, 3 years?
Yep, 2 to 3 years away, yep.
You know, they Turkey Bowl champs, you know. I think it's gonna take some, you know, good play again and believing and not too cocky. But, you know, it's Dunbar football, roll tide.
Yeah, facts. And like you said, man, they probably do return the most players. 90% of that 2019 Turkey Bowl 50 winning 10-win championship season, last year's championship team. And most notable, the reigning MVP, passing champion, and DCIAA Player of the Year, talking about QB Amonte Dreher.
Yeah.
Now, what I like about Amonte, outside of, you know, all the accolades that he has, the kid can make every throw. The game against HD, the regular season game against the first regular season game against
Man,
HD.
I wish you was at the second one. Oh my God.
I heard it was nice. I heard it was.
I wish it was on tape.
Was it 3 overtimes?
It was. I didn't want to go home.
I feel you. Yeah. And it was so good. Side note, it was so good to see an old rivalry renewed between HD and Dunbar. But we'll get to that. We'll get that in a little bit.
Definitely.
But again, about Dreher, he can make every throw: short pass, deep pass, intermediate. He can throw on the run. The kid makes great reads, and he doesn't turn the ball over, which, in my opinion, is the most important thing for a quarterback. Just 10 interceptions last year to go against 29 scores that he threw. Just lights out. What do you think about Dreher and that passing game at Dunbar?
He's bringing back, you know, the passing game at Dunbar. It hasn't been that way in a while. Even when you on your show you just had with the former HD players.
Yep. When
Chris was saying, you know, playing against Dunbar, you get downhill rushing.
Yeah.
It's been like that for a while.
Yep.
You know, it's been like that for even when I played with the Monte Smiths and the Willie Thorns, and back when he said with Bernard Robbins and things like that. We haven't had that big threat since Dave Bussey.
Yep.
I mean, arguably, LaMelo was actually throwing, but it's been a while since, you know,
somebody like put the type of numbers up there.
Nate Bussey and Tyree White and things like that.
Right.
So, I love it.
And of course, we talked about Dreher, but a quarterback can't do it by himself. Gotta have some receivers to throw to. And I think that
they had a core. They had a core receiver.
And I think Dunbar has, coming into this season, the most stacked receiving core in the city. Like from top to bottom. First name I'm gonna mention, led the Stars division in receiving, wide receiver Jamari Armstrong. What he lacks in stature,
speed,
he makes up in speed. And what do we always say about speed? Can't teach it.
Man, I remember when he caught the screen against HG the first game.
Goodness.
And I see him get a back a move, and he just goes to a second gear. I'm like, I mean, I seen him.
You talk about 0 to 60 easily.
Oh my gosh! I'm like, that speed right there. I'd have been mad at linebacker transition. I'd have been mad.
Yeah, man. Cause I mean, and I looked at that play. Funny thing about that play, I was calling the game. I knew he could run. I knew he was fast. But he went from the 30, he went from the 40 to the 20 before I could say 30. Like, it was gone.
Yeah, man. Even I think their receiver corps as a whole even put it together, even in track, because they took it serious.
Yes.
And they took it serious, and that's what you need to be doing.
Yep. And in addition to Armstrong, Martell Perry, Elijah Starkey, who's a big body receiver, and then I believe this year, quiet as it's kept, the return of Tahir Chase, offensively and defensively, I think is going to make a huge impact. Because prior to him getting injured mid-season, he was leading the Stars division in receiving.
Definitely. I also like Delonte Vaughn in the get to the special teams game, and he sort of falls behind in like the third receiver, but makes plays. I mean, he wears number 10. I like that. I feel like they got to play. Even Josh Goodwine, who plays both ways, he came out of nowhere.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? These guys are really doing it, and then you got Big Makai Farm protecting.
Yeah, man.
That's one thing you always gotta remember, the linemen. Yeah,
and they have a really good line. And one thing that a lot of people would say, if we can say Dunbar had an Achilles heel last year, a lot of people said because their passing game was so dominant, their run game wasn't up to par. But they proved that in the playoff game and in the Turkey Bowl. So
in the Turkey Bowl, I mean, they ran the ball well.
They did.
Actually, I believe running the ball defense saved them in the Turkey Bowl. That was my opinion.
Yep.
But even defensively, like the change, in my opinion, from Jaleel Smith, he came into high school as supposed to be this big bad running back, and now he's turned into one of the best linebackers in the city.
I know. How surprising.
Fast and strong. You guys, I'm telling you, pay attention to him on kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, I'm telling you, if you play against Dunbar, go watch tape on kickoff and see how fast Jaleel, number 3 big, goes down.
He's looking to take heads off.
I'm telling you, it's a problem.
And I want to get your thoughts on this, because you just mentioned about Bear being that big time back, and he showed previews of it his freshman year. Coming into this season, I would assume that Jaleel Smith, I would assume Bear's gonna be the number 1 back. If he is the number 1 back, how much do you think that'll impact Dunbar's offense?
I think it's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
They getting their linemen together and everything, and this is gonna be the key. They talk about the season. It's gonna be in February. It's cold.
Yep.
Throwing the ball every time. Cold. But that's bedtime to shine.
That's true.
So we're definitely gonna see how that turns out with him.
And I think, man, coming in this season, like I said, returning 90% of their roster, coming off a championship season where we didn't expect them. Well, I didn't expect them to win a championship. You have called it years ago. I think Dunbar has the opportunity to really have a stranglehold on the Stars division for.
I'll tell you this, me and Coach Big, our minds move in unison. Pun intended.
I love that.
Pun intended.
All right, so let's transition, man, to the team that Dunbar defeated in the Turkey Bowl, the H.D. Woodson Warriors. Now, the question coming into this season, kind of like it was a couple years ago in 2018, can H.D. regain the throne again?
This HD team is going to be one of the different teams we haven't seen in ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you're saying you're going to count HD out, I believe that you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, HD has won, 15 championships?
16, I believe.
16. I'm sorry. Woodson, don't attack me.
I was going to say, they get on something.
But, okay, 16 championships, and they've been around since 72, I want to say. Woodson's been winning forever,
literally.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying they can't make the Turkey Bowl or anything like that, but it's to the point where if you're not saying they're a threat, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, when you're saying they don't have playmakers, you're crazy.
Right.
So I believe it's just one of them things. You got to figure out what they're going to bring back to the table, and what they're going to, what came off the JV, what was in the building that didn't come, what is the transfer, or who wasn't eligible. It's one of those things like that. But one thing we do know, Kayvon Sneed will be on that field.
Yes, and I'm glad you talked about Kayvon. I'm gonna make a bold prediction real quick.
Okay.
I believe that Kayvon Sneed will lead the league in rushing this year as a sophomore, because I think he'll be their biggest offensive weapon coming into this season. If Coach Fuller and that offensive staff are able to put a good O-line in front of him, I think he'll lead the league in rushing, and I think 1,400 yard type of season. Because he showed a lot of great glimpses. If he gets the carries, and the opportunities, I think he can do that. I think he can carry that offense.
I can see that. And also, last season when they played against Royalty Institute, I was standing with Michael Salahuddin, former MVP.
Yep.
And he was just so amazed. He's like, he said he's seen him like on Instagram before and youth ball. But he was like seeing him in person playing. He's like, it's crazy how good he is.
Wow.
And he said he wanted to work with him.
Wow.
I mean, now of course Salahuddin's transitioned to defensive back, but I'm pretty sure he ain't
forgot nothing.
He can show him some tips. But also, DeAndre Purse for HD Wilson, I coached against him when he was in middle school, and he was, I think on the team, he was just a lost guy in the circle of running backs that they have, but found his way during league play. I think HD was playing like 5-6 running backs at a time. Yeah. But now, you know, graduation. So I believe him and Kayvon can be a 1-2 punch. And
right.
He had one play against Wilson that I saw. He just literally single-handed broke it.
Wow.
I mean, untouched. He
Straight
can
up.
do it.
Yeah.
So I want to see that. That's what I want to see, those two. And I just want to see great football.
Yep. And I think, and we know HD will give us that. And coming into this season, like I said, I believe that Sneed will be their biggest offensive weapon. But I think for HD, and like you mentioned, the Life After Sports show that I did with the 2010 team, talk about a great defense. I believe for HD, the motto will be defense wins championships. And a couple players I believe, returning players who I believe make an impact. Number one, strong safety Josiah Young. Showed promise, should make an impact, especially in a Coach Brandon Dow defense. Whether in the box or in coverage, made some really good plays last year. So if he's able to kind of do some of the things he did last year, if not more so, I think he'll be fine. Now coming into, and also I believe Brandon Williams will be another one who I think will make an impact. Maybe not as well known as Young, kind of flew under the radar on a defense who, you know,
got a lot of pieces.
Right,
you know,
right, like Keyshawn and etc. But one thing about watching his tape, he plays the ball well and has good instincts.
Yeah. See, when I'm looking at HD, I'm looking at who's gonna be the next DB. Yeah. Who's that next defensive back? Because
we can go on like back forever and just each year, yeah.
So I want to know who's that defensive back. I mean, for a while they've been running number 2. Right. I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, that's what I want to see. Who's gonna be that person to step up in that role.
Right. And I think for HD, that question will be answered when the season comes. Right now we don't know, and I'm not even sure if they know. But for HD, kind of a different type of feel to the program coming into this year. I believe only time will tell for them. So
also, to be honest, you know, there's been talks. When is it going to be Coach Fuller's last year?
It's true. That's true.
You know, that's going to be one of the last years we see him on the sideline. You never know.
Talking about the end of an era. Because 7, if they win Turkey Bowl 51, that'll be 8 Turkey Bowl championships for Coach Fuller, and he'll tie the great Bob Hedden and the great Craig Jeffries. It'll be a 3-way tie for 8.
Wow.
So maybe he'll walk away with
that's a lot of rings.
that's a lot of rings.
A lot of rings.
So maybe he'll walk away with that.
If you think, that's a lot of waking up early on Turkey Bowl morning.
Yep. And that's just the ones that he won. That doesn't count the losses.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So let's transition to a team who has been on the cusp of waking up on Turkey Bowl and taking it home, or on the cusp of making it to the Turkey Bowl year after year after year, going almost 10 years now. We're going up to Tinleytown. We'll talk about the Wilson Tigers. 2020 signals a new era in Wilson football history. Former Blue Knights head coach Manoso Rogers was named the new head coach of Wilson back in March, and thus the new era begins. What do you give me your thoughts on that coaching hire?
That's going to be, I think it's going to be a totally different culture going on. Shout out to Coach Buck Martin when he was there. You know, he was a Wilson alum, and he was already on Wilson's former staff with Coach Fleming. Rest in peace to Coach Fleming. Yeah. So it's going to be a different change in, you know, everything. How everything is ran, terminology, you know, those type of things are different, and maybe COVID is helping, maybe it's not. You know, especially when you talk about what time they get back to work out and things like that. Right. So, I think overall it's going to be a different experience. You know, Coach Rogers, he has no situation with year one, they win state championship. So,
championship experience.
You know, that first year Blue, he won a state championship, beat a loaded friendship team. So, if he does that again, you know, maybe I want to hire Coach Rogers for just that first year coach. You know,
right.
And also, like I said, you don't know what's the offense going to be, what's the defense going to be. I done heard some talking about some crazy offense. I'm not going to say right now, but heard some crazy things. And if that happens, you know, who's going to be prepared for it?
That's true.
You know, it's not a 7-on-7. There's no time for us to really, like, for even teams just to know until you step on that field.
Right. Especially because I don't think
we don't even know we're going to have scrimmages.
Right. Or non-league games or anything like that. It's still a lot of questions.
In my opinion, this might go. You might have, I think they said 3 non-league games. They might make you play like a crossover thing. You might have to play as stripes.
That's true.
So you never know how this is going to go.
Right. And let's say everything for Wilson does click. Let's just hypothetically, if they are a win now ready team, because to be honest, I'll be honest, my opinion, I think they're in maybe not a total rebuild, but at least a mid-level rebuild. I'll be honest to say that. But let's say they are win now already. Let's say they hit the ground running come February. Defensive end Sean McPhail will be not just but the impact player on that Wilson Tigers team. Coming off a 17-sack season and a 9-sack season the year before in 2018, and then a 17-sack season last year in 2019. I expect him to have another 15-plus sack season, if not eclipse 20, maybe, and lead the league in sacks.
Ooh. Coach Rob Lee, I know he's gonna bring that, you know, the gorilla style up there. That's we get 20 sacks. That's different.
Yeah, that's big dog status. And for him, coming off the edge, like he's so fast. Just watching his tape, so
if he does
fast.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, he is fast coming off the edge. You know,
like he beats the tackle literally at the snap.
Speed rusher style.
But one thing I did, in addition to how well he rushed the passer, he really improved against the run, and that's one thing that I wanted to see because I spoke about him last year's preview. I wanted to see how well he would play the run, play against the run as a defensive end, and he did pretty well, showing that he's an all-around defensive end outside linebacker. I
got a question for you.
Sure.
When you look at DC football, and I'm not talking about as a whole like 15 years ago. I'm talking about like now.
Yeah.
When you look at it, do you see this more as a run or a pass? When you see like offensive line?
I would say more pass. I would say more pass. Then you have the teams that are, they're gonna be run heavy. Like you said, not like 10, 15 years ago, but 4 or 5 years ago. First, when it comes to run heavy, Bell, first thing you think of.
Yeah.
You have some teams that can do it all.
Bell made me want to go play running back.
I know, right?
Bell made me want to play running back for real.
But like I said, I think Wilson is in maybe a mid-level rebuild, but only, again, kind of like we said about HD, only time is going to tell for the Tigers.
Definitely.
Now, for a team that that Wilson fought, you know, with Blue for that, with those 3 and 4th seeds
for years.
The Roosevelt Rough Riders, I believe, is the team that is the sleeper team of the year.
I will give you that one for real.
Yeah.
You sleep on them, it's going to be a problem this year. From what I've seen, they are really getting that work. They got a lot of pieces. You know, if you sleep on them,
you're going to be sorry. Kind of like I said about Dunbar last year, if you go to Rose or Rose comes to play you at home and you kind of look at them, okay, this is just Roosevelt. They're going to jump on you. It's going to be 20-0 at halftime, and you're going to be looking around like, what happened?
Exactly. Another thing, Roosevelt has HD for homecoming.
Really?
That's a statement.
Statement, yes. Statement game. Wow. No kidding. Statement game. Statement game and statement opportunity.
Yeah.
But like I said, this Roosevelt team, a young team, but coming into this season, tons on top of tons of potential. Though they graduated and transferred out a lot defensively, they bring in a young, explosive offense with a lot of explosive potential.
And they also bring in a lot of defense as well.
Yep. Give us some on defense and then I'll hit offense.
I'll say one of my guys that I'm really keen on this year to have a great year is Jaden Duncan. I've seen him since his 7th grade year in middle school. And I'm expecting, you know, big things from him. I'm expecting him to really step up and be their, you know, leader this year on defense. But you never know; they always have guys coming out anywhere as well.
That's true.
I expect him to have a great season as a junior.
Now for me, and I'll hit offense. They transfer in a signal caller from HD Woodson, Kerry Burns Jr. In from HD, and I believe, other than Amonte Dreyer, I believe that Burns is the most polished quarterback in the league, other than Amonte Dreyer, of course. I believe that he is the most polished. He's getting a lot of great work over the years with QB Lab and etc. So I think them bringing him in will make a big difference. I think their biggest receiving threat, junior wide receiver Winston Page. Last year he proved to be the go-to target, and just seemed like every week we were seeing a video or a clip of him making an unbelievable search. Yep. Just crazy.
And, I remember his freshman year when I was hearing about him, where he was nursing a shoulder injury. And you know, his sophomore year, he didn't see himself as one of the guys.
That's true. And I can tell by how he would run routes and stuff like that.
Even now in his junior year, like, you know, when we were having the small time 7-on-7, he started to realize that he is, you know, one of the guys.
Yep, he is.
You know, I'm just more big plays. You know, give him the ball.
Yeah, and I think that offense, Coach Chris and his offensive staff, I think they'll try to get him the ball in so many different ways, because just so many great catches. He can run great routes. So I'm excited to see it. He's a big body receiver.
Exactly.
So I love that.
Honestly, the thing Roosevelt's been missing is offense. You know,
that's true.
Coach Watts over there, that's the defense coordinator. He's, you know, they've been holding it down.
Yeah.
For a couple years now. And
they held Dunbar in the playoffs to 8 points.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all about getting that offense right. If you get the offense right, we never know what's gonna happen. And you know, one thing with them, Coach Chris, he told me he was upset with the voting online about the uniform. He said he had to get his swag right again. You know, they got some more uniforms from me.
Good deal.
Their team, if they get their offense right, we don't know when we could stop talking about them.
Right, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
And another offensive weapon, speaking of if they can get their offense together, coming into his sophomore year, John Pratt, as a freshman, was 3rd in the league, not just the division, but 3rd in the league in rushing in 2019 as a freshman. That's a big deal. Yeah. So that trio right there, you know, in basketball and the NBA, we always talk about a big three, and I kind of like that. So I think that trio right there, Burns, Page, and Pratt, I think if they are able to be clicking on all cylinders and that their line is able to really, really hold up tight, that's the team to watch out for. And I'm going to just say that.
I believe that they should be fine.
Yep. Now, for a team, we'll talk about the 2017 Turkey Bowl champs. And for the first time in at least 6-7 years, missed the playoffs, the Blue Knights. Now, like I said, missed the playoffs in 19, and Coach Rogers' departure. I think it's safe to say that Blue is in a rebuild, I would say. What are your thoughts on that?
Blue, they're in a rebuild, but when you start also saying, like you said, Wilson was in a rebuild as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got 3 teams that you're talking about, as far as Roosevelt, Dunbar, HD, from what I'm gathering from you is saying they are the top 3 teams.
You'll find that out in the last segment, but you get the gist.
What I'm saying is, you can be in a rebuild year and still sneak in the playoffs.
That's true. That's true.
And like I said, this year we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Is it going to be playoffs? Is it going to be just the top 2 seeds make it?
Wow, that's a good point.
You never know.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not in the meetings like that. I'm just getting stuff as soon as we get out the meetings.
Right.
So you don't, but Blue's going to have one thing. They're going to be tough.
Yes.
They're going to be fast.
Yes.
And they're not going to be scared of anybody.
Nope.
So,
and going over to Southeast to play is a different monster than going to play anywhere.
The mumbo is different.
Yes, it is.
That's what that phrase is. But I'm also say Wilson Blues a rival now.
That's true. Yeah.
Since the Stars and Stripes started in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say they played each other like 10 times.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, they was playing each other twice in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Then got to play each other in the playoffs,
which are always great in competitive games.
Exactly. So now you're talking about a coach leaves and he gonna go to, that Wilson. I
didn't even think about that. Woo!
I honestly think this is
I didn't think about that.
A Tunley Southeast rivalry.
Yeah, and that dynamic, you spoke about it one time before.
It's a clash.
Upper Northwest, Southeast, Ward 8.
That's a difference.
Yes.
It's definitely a different clash, and it's definitely a different feel. And it's crazy when you think, in most states where it would be one side will win it every time. It wouldn't be close. It wouldn't even be right. It would just be we play each other. It's a big game, but we're going to win it.
Right.
You really don't know.
No, you don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Even last year, I think went all the way down to like last 2 minutes.
Yeah. So you never know.
That's true. And one thing that Blue, I believe, a step in the right direction after missing the playoffs and after Coach Rogers' departure, they hired new head coach Kenneth Brown, and he'll have a few pieces to build with. He told me that they have about 10 to 15 incoming freshmen.
He recruited a lot. He recruited a lot.
A1 recruiting. So I think, and I was excited when he got the hire. When I heard that Coach Rogers was departing, he was the first one came to my mind as who I thought should get that job. So when it came out that he was the hiree, I was excited about that.
One thing I know how he recruited Southeast.
Yes.
Trying to get Johnson and Hart and Southeast Tar Heels and Douglas and all these programs Southeast. Bring them if you keep them Southeast. A lot can go on.
Yeah. Especially if you get Johnson kids. All they do is win.
Man, it is what it is.
That's true.
If you bring those programs together, it's a lot.
Right.
Even when you start talking about the ones from Jefferson who live right on the cusp of Southeast, some still live in Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the last champions for middle school ball were Johnson, Jefferson, and Hart.
Yep.
All the way back to 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, Jefferson, and Hart. So you were getting the experienced ball players.
Yep. And speaking of Hart, I want to talk about a Hart Middle School alum, free safety Anthony Martin. Defensive Player of the Year finalist last year. 8 picks, just a crazy season. 8 picks, 4 pick sixes in 2019. Mm-hmm. It was a stretch in either close to the end of the season where it was 2 or 3 games where he had a pick every game. Had a pick and a pick six just about every game. True definition of a ball hawking safety, constantly around the football, can make an impact in all 3 phases. So if you're asking me now, talk about awards, MVPs and stuff like that, I believe that Martin is a front runner for the MVP award.
I tell you this, Martin is a playmaker.
Yes.
You know, he's gonna get the ball. He's gonna
Period.
He gonna find
playmaker.
You know, he's gonna find it, and like we say, get your playmakers the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The ball comes to him. He finds it on defense. He
Yes,
won
he
the
does.
Anacostia game himself.
Yep.
You know, or you can catch a pick six, and that's the only score of the game.
Almost won the Bell game by itself.
Exactly. So, you know, he's a Division I talent.
Easily.
You know, guy got some offers coming in, so Division I talent.
And another thing, I don't know how widely known this is. Good grades. Good grades. Another player, and we'll stay on that blue defensive side of the ball, but we'll go to linebacker level. Khalil Bolden. Quiet season, first team all-league quiet season, if you will. 93 tackles, 5 sacks, and a pick in 2019. Similar to Martin, but at linebacker level, has a nose for the football. And he kind of reminds me of former Arizona Cardinals linebacker Deion Buchanan. He wore number 20. Anybody wants to go and Google him. Small in stature, size of a safety, but for what he lacks, just like Buchanan, same with Bolden, what he lacks in size, he makes up with that thump. So when any time I've seen him making tackles, the ball carrier know they tackle. There's no doubt about that.
Makes sense.
And like I said, with the hire of Coach Brown, maybe 2-3 years, maybe a little longer. We'll see what blue is. We'll see what blue is. So now let's transition, man, to a team that for a couple years now has been in a rebuild, and I think will continue to rebuild. Talking about the Eastern Ramblers, E-Ball, which is my favorite hashtag and nickname, by the way. I don't know why, I just love the E-Ball moniker. Like I said, missed the playoff the last 2 years, including a winless 2019, unfortunately. With a completely new staff, Eastern is in full rebuild, man. So KP, I want to get your thoughts on this. For them to have a successful rebuild like we've seen from Dunbar and from Roosevelt over the past few years, what is it going to take?
Recruiting, commitment, a change in culture, a change in just how things are done.
Right.
You know,
From the from top to bottom.
Exactly, and that's the main thing is when you're trying to build a team, build a culture, build a legacy.
Yeah.
You know, when you got programs right around you, you gotta build from it. You gotta build from Elliott Hine and Brown and Rosedale and Stuart Hobson. You gotta build from these programs. For Watkins, you know, if you don't, what are you gonna do? Because everybody's trying to recruit now. This isn't a day where
recruiting doesn't happen.
Exactly, where kids are just I'm gonna go here, and,
or it's
and
a situation where
care.
you have to go somewhere. No, it doesn't work like that no more.
I'm like these kids today are getting talked to 3rd grade, 4th grade. You know, so when you one of them, or they come, they want 60-0 looks good.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Because you
homecoming game look good.
Because you're not gonna have no kids.
You know, and I just want to see DC Bowl be great. So I just want the right person in the situation, build a program up.
Right.
You know, and I mean it starts with the little things. You know, the look, and I'm saying the look of the school, the look of how the coaches carrying it. You know, from captains to uniforms to just how everything is ran today. You can build it and make it seem like, oh, this is the best program in the city. Right. It's just ran correctly.
And the one thing that that we saw, like I said, I spoke about Dunbar and how they went through the rebuild. The one thing that I noticed about Dunbar from when Coach Bink first took the job was how they carried the staff from Coach Bink, all the way through the freshmen that they brought in. They carried themselves like they were a championship winning program, even though they only won 2 games. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, I think that's the main key. You just gotta. It's gonna be build a program. That's where we start. Build a program. I'm not saying you're gonna go from 0 to 10-0, but build a strong program, build a foundation, and build from the foundation.
And I think the number one thing that is gonna take, and not just for Eastern, but for any team that's in a rebuild, is going to take patience. Patience.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I wouldn't even be surprised if they didn't have a team this year.
Right.
You know, with everything going on and trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
It's not bad not to have a team.
Right.
You know, if you gonna go out there and put 18 guys on the field and
not win a game, and
you
you're just putting guys out there, it's a waste of time.
Exactly. Where you got them guys, because you have dedicated guys. Let's get better. Let's recruit. Because you can take that time. As if, let's say if you only had 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got 18 who I'm not really for. So
Right.
let's say you're really gonna have like 10 mentally
Yeah.
locked in and things like that. You could take that time, especially the underclassmen. We can be lifting. We can be getting better on the board.
Mm-hmm.
You can be coaches. You can be recruiting.
Yep.
You know, there's middle school games going on. There's youth ball games going on.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can literally go scout opponents, like really break down tape. You know, things like that. So figure out what you want to do. Figure out your offense. Figure out your defense. You know, when as a new coach and you're trying to install new things, you know, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real hard.
And I think for E-ball, I think only time will tell, and I just hope that eventually, we're able to see a prominent Eastern football program, because back in the day, Eastern was one of those teams that you did not want to see. So hopefully it gets there one day.
Maybe Eastern should get. My thing, Eastern, strive to play your Turkey Bowl at your home state.
Yeah.
Strive for that.
Yep.
Strive for home field advantage.
Yep. Instant home game.
You want some new swag, you want to look sweet, you need some new gear, check out my new brand, Unison Sports Apparel. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at big__KP, or you can follow our Instagram page for my business, Unison The Brand.
Let's transition now to the Stripes division. You said in last year's preview special, you said, and I quote, "If it's easy for anybody in the Stripes division, they got you." And based off how last year went, it was easy for nobody.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know it was a circus. Even down to
that's the perfect way to put it.
Down to the meeting.
Yep.
Circus.
Yep. It was crazy.
Circus.
It was entertaining. It was great football. I don't think I covered a Stripes game that wasn't good. I don't think I covered a Stripes game that was boring.
It was entertaining, you know, the whole season.
Yep. And of course, when we talk about the Stripes division, we got to talk about the defending Gravy Bowl champions. The Coolidge Colts go from worst to first to capture the first Gravy Bowl in school history and the first football title win since 1986.
I'm about to say it has to be a long time.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, Chris, did you even have to make the playoffs?
No. I'll tell you something else. I don't even think we talked about them because nobody knew, well, at least I didn't know anything about them. Throughout the season, they made me know who they were.
Yeah.
So coming into this season, the question is kind of like with Dunbar, will we see a Coolidge two-peat? Mm-hmm. I mean, they were in unison, so I got to get your thoughts. What you think?
In unison. We just actually shot a video. Well, we actually been shot it, but it's a lot with them, you know. I expect great things, you know. Keon Brown has really impressed me as a two-sport athlete, you know. I believe this year on the football field he should step it up to another level. I think with Coach Nesbitt and everything, his staff and those kids been together for so long, they know what they're doing. Yeah. You know, even with this time off because of COVID, they still have that gel, that click where you've been together for years.
Yep.
You know,
and that's so true about that program, because not only I think especially from this past year, they have been coaching majority of those players since they were
little kids.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10 years old. That makes a big difference.
They were some of them kids' first coaches ever.
Yep, and only coaches.
Yeah,
only coaches.
Yeah.
So one thing, because if they repeat this year, it'll be the school's first repeat since, again, 1986, when they won back-to-back Turkey Bowls. We have an idea of what a repeat would mean to the team.
Yes.
But for everything that school has been through with the rebuilding, what would it mean to the school and the Coolidge community for a repeat?
Coolidge has really been looking as a basketball school for a long time.
Yes.
Even when they did make the Turkey Bowl with Coach Natalie Randolph, it still was a basketball school.
Yep, very true.
You know, multiple championships in basketball, even a state championship.
Yep, with Coach Vaughn.
Yeah, so it's going to change the culture, and now I think in DC it's a clash going on between the young and the old, where like, you have Coach Fuller, one of the older coaches, and now Coach Nesbitt and Coach Chris Harden and Coach Kenneth Brown.
Yep.
The younger generation's coming on. Even in basketball, we have Coach Rob Nickens, and then you have Coach Derek Washington from Coolidge.
Right.
It's the young versus old. So Coolidge is really changing the narrative and things like that for all their sports.
That's true.
And if they can do that, Uptown will be on fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go back to those old Orange Bowl days of Coolidge and Roosevelt.
Right.
Well, you never know what might happen.
That's true. That's true. Because if they do win this year,
they were on schedule to play each other before COVID happened.
Really? Okay.
So
Coolidge and Roosevelt.
They was for the Orange Bowl. That's what they think, the Orange Bowl trophy.
Yes.
So now with the schedule being, we don't know.
Yeah.
I say they should be able to play because you're saying 3 non-league. I think that they should do crossover games.
Yeah.
And I think that.
And they did that one time before, back in 2016, actually.
Yeah. Yep. So I believe they should go back just for this year. Like you could have literally 3 crossover games, but I believe if you already had them on your schedule, you should have to play them.
Yeah, I agree.
Which would be great.
Yeah, especially for that Orange Bowl, and for where we believe in Roosevelt to be, and we would think Coolidge is going to be. I think it'll be great.
So for the community as well.
Yep. And for me, man, I think this season will be more of a total team effort for Coolidge. Last year, playmakers carried the team.
It was crazy players, man.
Like
ESPN, none.
I know, right? Tyon Pelham, Deshaun Hancock, Cannon, and a couple other guys really carried that team. I mean, every Coolidge game I covered, those are the 2 and 3 names that I said throughout the entire broadcast.
I mean, you and Zoe, who's on Zoo Network, y'all really went viral because.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? The shot that Zoe got, the shot that Huzman Zoo had of it, it still get views to this day. It's still getting views.
So, it's definitely gonna be a team effort, but it's a team.
Yep.
So, I feel like Coolidge, they're gonna be in the right situation. I'm not gonna say, they're not gonna be in the playoffs and nothing like that. That's crazy.
Right.
I feel like they're gonna be where they're supposed to be. Easy.
Absolutely. And I think one player who I believe has the potential to make a big impact, junior running back, defensive back, Sincere Matthews Cole. I believe he is one of the players who is primed for a breakout season. I mean, as a sophomore, when given the opportunity, he produced in a backup role. If given more opportunities this season, because he's always seemed to be in the right place, whenever he got the ball, positive yards, made the right block, made the open field tackle, did all the little things right that you want to see for one of your returning players. And if he's able to get more opportunities, which I believe he will, I believe he's one player that, may have that breakout season and just come out of nowhere for Coolidge. And like I said, Coolidge is still a team to beat. I don't think anybody's gonna not say that. I don't think nobody's gonna disagree with that. Now, for this next team we're gonna talk about, who was Coolidge's biggest competition, 2020, I believe, has the opportunity to be the year of the A team. We're talking about the Anacostia Indians, y'all. They returned a really strong core from a team that was literally a 2-point conversion away from a title. So give me your thoughts on as we head into year 2 of the Jason Lane era in Anacostia.
Year 2. I can't say get over the hump. You got just the only thing left is just win.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty much.
They had a great defense last year.
They did. Only team that could really score on them was Coolidge.
Yeah, just solidifying everything, trying to get better, get scholarship. I mean, it's hard to really
because they literally they were about
it. It's literally just got to win.
Yep,
you know, win and get scholarships. I think that's the only thing you can say.
Yeah, that's true. And this year they transfer in former Eastern quarterback Jeremiah Drummond, who, and in addition to that, they also bring over quite a few good coaches from around the city, most notably former Eastern head coach, actually Jeremiah's dad, Coach Drummond, comes over from Eastern as well. So I think you talk about getting over the hump for Anacostia and not really, only thing left to do is win. I think they're putting themselves in the position right now to be able to do that.
To do it.
Yep.
And that's the key. Just win.
That's it. That's it. That's really it for Anacostia.
Just gotta win.
And I think for them to be able to do that, I think one player, who I think is really they're really gonna have to give him the opportunities to make an impact. Jamari Glasker, I believe, is a player who has the ability and the potential to explode this year.
Makes sense.
Playmaker for sure with game-breaking potential.
Facts.
Anytime he touched the ball last year, big yardage or touchdown. Just about every time I saw him touch the ball. Threat to score from anywhere on the field, whether getting a handoff, whether catching screen, deep pass, wherever he is, opportunity to get 6 points. Defense, because he's a two-way player. On defense, definitely able, consistently in the perfect position last year for the interception, tackle, or pass breakup. So I think if Coach Lane and his staff are able to put him in position to be successful and to make plays, I think Jamari Glasker might mess around and be in the running for Stripes Division MVP. You know what I'm saying?
That's all right, you know. And I mean, like you said, it's not that much you can say about Anacostia because they know what's needed.
Yep. And like I said, for Anna, I think at this point, coming off of last year's overtime loss by 2 points, just win. Just win. Now, let's go to a team who, since about 2014, have been on the cusp of winning the Gravy Bowl or making it to the Gravy Bowl.
Okay.
Talking about the McKinley Tech Trainers go over to T Street.
The first ever
Gravy Bowl winners. Yep. Now, for them, man, kind of like Wilson, the only difference is they actually did capture a title in this span. For Tech, can they get over the hump? They've lost in the Gravy Bowl and or the playoffs in the last 6 seasons. Since the last time that they captured the Gravy Bowl, which was the first one, was 2013. It's the last time they hoisted a trophy. Rest of the seasons, lost in the playoffs or the Gravy Bowl.
McKinley just gotta get over the hump, believe in themselves. But 2 years ago they went to the Gravy Bowl.
Yep.
And they played a dominant Bill squad.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, we knew what was up with that one.
I just believe they just gotta keep pushing. You know, they won the inaugural Gravy Bowl, and then they didn't bring enough back the next year.
That's true.
Well, actually, they had pieces. It was just so many brand new pieces.
Yeah.
There was, a lot.
And then other teams got better, like Eastern and Bell.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's always been that way. You just got keep building the program what Coach Goodwin is doing.
Yes, very much so.
I feel like they'll be fine. Just got to get over the hump.
And I think, man,
get some upsets. Like, remember last year, it was like 0-5.
Yep, and then just went on a tear.
Yeah.
So I think, man, I'll say this, had their offense produced last year at all, I think they'd have won the Gravy Bowl. I truly think they would have won the Gravy because their defense, especially towards the end of the season, was playing lights out. They were playing lights out. So I think if their offense would have produced, I think they would have won the Gravy Bowl.
They had a shot.
Now, coming into this year, for them to get over the hump, I believe, especially on offense, starting junior QB Robert Stocks is going to have to play well.
Yeah.
Last year showed potential, but I just got too much bad stocks. I need more good stocks than bad stocks. Especially in the first Anacostia game, which is the first game I saw Tech. Made some really good throws early in the game, but then throughout the game, turnovers just killed their offense, and eventually Anacostia ran away with a I think 26-0 win. So I think coming into this year, he's a 2-year star, going to be a 2-year starter. He has to. This is his year to produce.
Yeah.
This is his year to produce.
I agree.
And if he has as good as a defense as they did last year, and in addition to some pieces that they're bringing back, he'll have the intangibles to possibly to lead them to a Gravy Bowl title. So we'll see what happens, man. Now, a team that I'm excited to talk about because they secured their second varsity playoff berth in as many seasons. I'm talking about the Ron Brown Monarchs, y'all. Many, including me, I expected Ron Brown to be a title contender, but only were the 4th seed. So coming into this year, man, what does Ron Brown have to do differently to be a true contender?
Ron Brown they're in the hunt. I think this is going to be. I think this is one of the years they got to make that push. I think it's you can't really say who's the number 1 or 2 seed.
That's true.
I make that push this year, Ron Brown. It's not saying it's doable in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
definitely
very
doable.
much so.
It's been doable.
Maybe this year more so than last year.
Exactly. 30 on varsity. Let's see if we can make it count.
Yeah. And I think one player who I believe will make a definite impact, senior, and I believe he'll have to be a vocal leader as well. Senior Jay Devon will have to play big time if Ron Brown wants to make any type of noise whatsoever.
Definitely.
He's going to play on both sides of the ball, had some time as a signal caller last year, but I think he's going, as he goes, they'll go. So I think he'll impact in multiple ways, but as he goes, they'll go. And more so, as their coaching staff goes, they'll go. Especially coming off a season where they were like that from a Gravy Bowl title, and then coming up in the 4th seed. This year will really tell what Ron Brown has the opportunity to be moving forward. So
I agree.
Only time will tell again. And I think that's for the entire DCIAA.
Yeah.
Now, a team that we have come accustomed to seeing in the playoffs and in the Gravy Bowl for the first time since 2013 did not make the playoffs, the Bell Griffins. Now, 2019 was the first time in 6 seasons that the Griffins did not make the playoffs. That's a long time.
Injuries killed Bell.
Yeah.
Quarterback Zion Pierce, he still put up nice numbers as a freshman, but injuries killed him. And I've been on the team like that before where injuries killed us. We were in a battle for first place at the time. So I understand how they feel. Can't never get it back.
That's true.
But, just got to keep rebuilding, and hopefully once you rebuild enough, you don't have to rebuild anymore.
That's true. And coming into last season, as the favorite and the defending champs, 2019 was very humble. Yeah. It was a very humbling year for Bell. Took a lot of lumps, as most young teams do, but did show potential. Like you just mentioned, sophomore QB Zion Pierce, Johnson boy, right?
Yes.
Johnson boy. 1,100 yards, 13 scores, and will only improve with experience.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for a freshman. For a freshman. On a team that went through, caught the injury bug early in the season and throughout the season. Only will improve with experience. Junior running back Tobias Barton. If he stayed healthy in 2019, he would have ran for 1,000 yards easily. Will be a playmaker and a vocal leader on both sides of the ball. And quiet sleeper who almost made his case for Defensive Player of the Year. Cornerback, wide receiver Aaron Thomas. Potential to be a lethal playmaker. 6 picks. Led the league deep into the season. Messiah Douglas and Damian Gant ultimately had more than him. Both of those guys were tied with 8. But I think Aaron Thomas, who caught 5 picks against Eastern, somebody has to look that up. There has to be a record, some type of. There got to be a record in some type of way. So I think Aaron Thomas is another name who's going to make an impact. And I think if those 3 are able to be hitting on all cylinders, which I'm sure that Coach Tyson and his offensive staff will make sure that they are, this could be Bell's comeback year for sure. And last point I want to make about Bell, man. They pride themselves, Coach OJ and his coaching staff, they pride themselves on being prepared. After 2019, I'm sure, I can just about guarantee you that lit a fire under their belt for them to show the city that Bell is still a team to be reckoned with.
Makes sense. That's how you're supposed to be. You know, keep rebuilding your program, keep taking over, and don't let it die.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Now, usually we don't talk about these 2 teams because coming into the season, it's not much to talk about. Cardozo and Phelps. Many people ask me all the time, man, what's up with Doza and Phelps? Why can't they get better? You know, why can't they win? Why every year are they at the bottom of the barrel?
That's a
so I wanted you to also share, and I wanted to share my thoughts. If you want, I know, you know, if you would like to.
That's a hard one, sorta. I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
Phelps 2015. No, let me go back. Phelps 2013 went to the
Gravy Bowl.
Inaugural Gravy Bowl.
Yep.
I played against them in 2014. They had a lot of talent. Played against 2015, total rebuild. But rules and regulations changed how that team went down.
Right.
Coach Ron Anthony and everything. But I just think it's all about finding the right kids to go to the school, finding the right coach.
Yeah.
And like I said, building the program and San Diego with Cardozo. I played against Cardozo my 9th grade year, and we beat them 70-0 in the 3rd quarter. But at the same time, we didn't see Cardozo go to the playoffs.
Yep, that's true.
So it's all about
and beat
Bell.
Beat Bell in 16 handily.
It's all about finding the right coach, getting the right program together, and it's time that you got to maybe it's not up to a DC coach to do it. Maybe
That's a good point.
Maybe the administration needs to reach out to the D coordinator at whatever school in PG County or
That's a good point.
Things like that.
Very good point. For me, from the outside looking in, because obviously I'm not an administrator there or anything like that. And this is nothing against either school whatsoever. But I believe a lot of the, I guess, blame, if you will, would go towards the administration of each school. Like I said, nothing against either school, but I don't believe that athletics are a focal point at each school, at either of these schools. It can't be the kids. The kids are only there, a max of 4 years, right? It can't be it can't be coaching, because when there's a coaching change, the programs don't improve. And having support from the administration is so vital. So that's my thoughts. And then of course you can say, especially maybe for Cardozo, the change in the neighborhood and gentrification and stuff may play a part. But ultimately, I think it's administration, because we see teams in that area like Bell, etc.
Dunbar get some talent from that population as well. Exactly,
and have success. So, I just wanted us to talk about that, because a lot of people do ask that question, like, what's up with them? There's your in-depth preview of the upcoming DCIAA football season. After this break, we'll hear from the defending Gravy Bowl champions, the Coolidge Colts, and the reigning Turkey Bowl champions, the Dunbar Crimson Tide. So keep it locked. That Sports Dude will be right back after this. All right, welcome back, family. I'm your host, Chris Dunlap, and you're watching the 2020 DCIAA football preview. And I'm still here, as always, with my man KP Unison Brand owner. What's good, cuz?
What's up with you, man? You already know it's love here, man.
Oh, facts. So after hoisting trophies in 2019, the Coolidge Colts and the Dunbar Crimson Tide, who both
One Unison, man. You already know.
Facts.
Moving Unison.
So they had an opportunity, I had the opportunity, better said, to sit down with them and hear their outlook on the upcoming 2020 season. Let's take a look. Coming out of nowhere, the Coolidge Colts shocked everyone and took home the 2019 DCIAA Gravy Bowl. Join me right now to share what we will see from the Colts this season are head coach Kevin Nesbitt and linebacker Takai Jones. Fellas, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you.
Oh, no doubt about it. So, Coach, we'll start with you, man. In a season, like I said, where no one expected you guys to win, let alone win the championship, you all took it home. Man, tell me what went into your program's success last year, man?
Well, you know, we came out of nowhere, but we weren't new to this. We was at Kingsman Academy where we won the championship there. So the majority of our team came to Coolidge. So we pretty much picked up where we left off. So a lot of guys knew who we were and a lot of guys didn't. So that was kind of a good thing because people were thinking they was playing the same Coolidge. So, you know, we just made sure we played 4 quarters of football and just take it one play at a time. Absolutely.
And one thing, I'm speaking about coming over from Kingman, because that Kingman team that you coach was in the state championship in 2018 versus Bell, so not a sleeper team at all. But coming over to Coolidge, one thing that I've noticed even following you on Instagram, a lot of your players have been with you since they were young. Just speak about that and how it's been for you watching a lot of these guys grow up.
Yeah, that's a good question because the class of 2020 basically been with me since they was 9 years old.
Wow.
So this will be the first year that they won't be a part of War 5 Warriors, Kingsman, and Coolidge. But we got a few guys like Takai that's been around for about 4 or 5 years, a part of it, because we have a little league program, War 5 Warriors. So kids are coming up from 4th, 5th grade all the way up to high school. So, you know, you're right, those guys know the system. So it's pretty much once you feed your lawn, it's just watering it at that point, once they get to the 12th grade.
Right. Now, Takai, so let's go back to last year's Gravy Bowl championship over at Dunbar versus Anacostia. A great game, very competitive game, as the homecoming game was here. But man, I just gotta hear from someone who's on the field. When Jabari made that tackle to seal that championship for you guys, just tell me, what was going through your mind? What were you feeling at that moment?
Basically, I was feeling like hero.
Yeah.
Hero. We was gonna stop it anyway, but he just beat us to the punch. Clutch plays win the game.
Facts. Now, speaking of clutch plays, and you guys will come into this season as the defending champions, right, Takai?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So as you guys embark on this season, tell me, what should we expect from the 2020 Coolidge Coach, man?
Hard work, dedication. That's all. Football.
Facts, I hear you. What about you, Coach? What should we expect from you guys?
Yeah, you should expect a little more discipline out of these guys. One thing we preached, you know, during this COVID, we had to deal with a lot of changing and adjustments, and that's what football all about. So we kind of been focusing more on the details, more so because we can't get out on the field. So guys are more focused on the little things that we tend to forget about. So you'll see a more polished team. You know, a lot of big plays, but it's going to be a lot of fundamentals we should expect out of this team.
On the hunt for back-to-back titles, the Coach will definitely be a team to beat in the DCIAA Stripes division. Don't touch that dial, because I'm going to head over to the Valley and find out what the defending Turkey Bowl champions have in store for us this season. After that dominant passing game led them to a Turkey Bowl 50 title, the Dunbar Crimson Tide come into this season with the word repeat on their minds. Here to talk about their outlook on the 2020 campaign, our Crimson Tide head coach Maurice Vaughn and the reigning 2019 DCIAA Stars Division MVP, QB Amante Drea. Fellas, thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, man. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, Coach Bink, start with you, man. 1 month before the 2019 season got underway, your program experienced, man, the unthinkable, the loss of a player. After Akey's passing, And just explain to us, how did you and your team and your coaching staff, man, find the strength to fight on and then fight all the way to a Turkey Bowl 50 title?
The way we got through it, man, was togetherness. You know, I mean, it was definitely something that affected all of us, man. And actually, Monte's mom was the one who called me because he was, he was going crazy at home. I was in Cancun, Mexico the day before I was scheduled to return, and she called me. She didn't know what was going on. So she said, all Monte keeps saying is one of his teammates got killed. So I called Coach Minot, Coach Greg Minot, our defensive coordinator, to find out what was going on. And he told me he wasn't going to bother me while I was on vacation. He was going to let me know the next day. But, I mean, I was devastated, as well as all the players and coaches. But the way we got through it was together. And we came together, man, and we decided to use it as fuel, to mow through the season. And we dedicated the season to him, and we committed ourselves to play physical, football from first quarter to the last whistle, man, in his honor. And the proof is, everything else came out what it is, man, and he was with us every game.
So Monte, let's shift gears just a bit. Throughout the season, and you and I were even talking just before we got started, your team's passing game was the talk of the league, no doubt about it. Man, just share with us what went into that dominant passing game that you guys had.
I mean, just practice, just knowing your assignments and alignments. Like Coach Banks say, you can't start a play if you don't know what's your assignment. Like, we made sure everybody knew what they had to do, and we just went in and executed, made sure everybody was in the right spot at the right time.
And coming into that season, I even said it on last year's preview special, I was kind of expecting more of a possible ground and pound Dunbar team. But then the first game I covered you guys against Bear, you threw 5 scores. So I say, okay, maybe not so ground and pound, maybe a Air Force Crimson Tide, if you will. So it was real fun to watch. So, and Monte, we'll stay with you right here. With the 2020 season, hopefully around the corner, what will we see from this 2020 Dunbar team?
You obviously you'll see a whole bunch of passing again. That's our offense. We just, how can I put it? We just gotta make sure that we all on the right track. Coming back in after a long off season, we just gotta make sure we all know what we're doing and make sure we all on the same page.
That's a bet. So how about you, Coach Bink? Especially, as Monte just said, a longer off season than normal with all this COVID-19 situation. What should we expect out of your team?
The biggest thing, man, you're gonna see grit. And, like, grit and physicality is something that I preach to our team. Even though we run a spread offense, like a lot of people take that as finesse teams and soft. And, Monte, I tell them all the time, man, we got to bring a defensive mentality with our offense because teams going to think it's soft. And, like grit is important to me. Physical football, the game's never going to change. Even though we run in an open offense, we want to be able to hit people in the mouth, and we want to be able to do things like, impose our will on people. And we're not always, in the past, we haven't been always able to do that because we've been young, we've been undersized at times. So our offense is accommodative to when we're not able to do that. But the biggest thing that, I preach to these young men is we got to be physical and we got to be mentally tough because, even last year, we went through a lot of mental games. We had to close games in the fourth quarter. We went through a lot of mental stuff. And these guys, I'm very proud of them, the way that they held up mentally. So you're gonna see a mentally tough team and a team that bring a lot of physicality and grit. That's what you should expect.
A lot of good info right there, huh, man? Yeah, great info right there, 2 championship teams.
Yep.
We'll see what they do this year.
For sure. But I know the segment that you are geeked about is coming up next. What is it?
Predictions.
Absolutely. So y'all know what time it is. After this break, you guys will get the opportunity to hear my highly anticipated and somewhat controversial DCIAA football predictions.
We want it controversial.
So make sure you don't touch that dial because that Sports Dude will be right back after this.
Hey, this is Dr. Bill Bennett from Good Success Church in Washington, D.C. If you're ever in the D.C., Maryland, or Virginia area, we welcome you to come by and visit with us. I'm sure you'll be inspired by our services. And we're located at 4401 Sheriff Road, Northeast in the Deanwood community of Washington, D.C. Listen, if you'd like more information about the church and all of the various things that we're doing, we'd love for you to give us a call at 202-398-3000, or you can certainly tune into our website at goodsuccesschurch.org, goodsuccesschurch.org, or you can certainly connect with us on all the social media platforms, Good Success Church DC, and we'd love to connect with you.
All right, welcome back, y'all. I'm still here with my man KP for the 2020 DCIAA football preview.
You saying 2020? The season probably will be 2021.
That's a good point. So maybe 2021, 20. Yeah, good point. Good point. But you know something? Regardless of when the season starts, the one thing that we're gonna be talking about from now until the end of the season is my predictions.
Facts.
So without further ado, it's prediction time. Y'all ready? Let's get it going. Okay, let's start in the Stripes division, as we usually do during prediction time. Now, one thing I want you guys to realize,
I do not know what he's going to say.
He doesn't.
It's actually funny this way because Chris messed up a lot.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Yes.
It's very funny.
And I know a lot of people always ask, and I know you get a lot of DMs because you don't do predictions. So I'm gonna give him an opportunity to tell y'all his predictions.
Unison gonna run the city. I mean, being real, I wish it was the fall, so we can get the hats, we can get the the t-shirts and everything. Unison can run the city, moving Unison.
I support that. I support that. So man, let's go ahead and get with these predictions, man. You ready?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so again, we're starting the Stripes division. So my playoff 4 in the Stripes division, I'm gonna turn the card so you can't see. My playoff 4, number 4 seed, McKinley Tech Trainers.
Okay. I'm interested. Okay, this. Go ahead. Come on.
My number 3 seed, the Bell Griffins in a return to playoff form. My number 2 seed, the Coolidge Colts.
Okay.
And my number 1 seed, the Anacostia Indians. So those are my playoff 4 in the Stripes division.
Okay, so what doesn't Ron Brown have that you think they can make the playoffs?
This might make them mad, but I don't see enough hunger.
No hunger, okay.
I know Bell coming off of not making the playoffs.
So Bell's gonna beat McKinley?
Yes, I think so.
At McKinley?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I think that Bell is gonna be even hungrier coming into this season than they were going into last season, especially after how humbling it was. So I think Bell will be back to playoff form. And I just don't see Ron Brown. I expected Ron Brown to be so much better than they were last year. And they didn't show me that. And I didn't see the type of potential that I thought I would see too. So
makes sense.
That's why I don't think they'll make the playoff. So my 2020, or should we say 2021, Gravy Bowl matchup.
Oh, Gravy Bowl.
What you got now?
I mean, gravy is like Thanksgiving-ish.
That's true. That's
Season
true.
supposed to start in February into April. I mean, this might be the Bunny Bowl. For
The
egg
Bunny Bowl.
So stripes, we can call it the Bunny Bowl for stripes.
The Bunny Bowl. Okay, so the 2020 Bunny Bowl.
2021 Bunny
if
Bowl.
you will.
2021 Bunny Bowl.
My championship matchup in the stripes division is going to be the number 2 seeded Coolidge Colts versus the number 1 seeded Anacostia Indians.
It's a rematch.
A rematch of last year's Gravy Bowl, which was a great game.
Yeah.
And I predict that the champions will be the Anacostia Indians will avenge last year's loss in the Gravy Bowl, and they will beat Coolidge this year to be Stripes Division champions. That's my Stripes Division predictions.
Is this going to turn into a rivalry, a Southeast Uptown rivalry?
If Anacostia wins, I think it will be. I think so. And each game from the 2 games last year, the regular season and the playoffs, both were great games. So hopefully we get treated to even more this year. Now let's go to the the Stars division. So my playoff 4 in the Stars division, my number 4 seed are the Wilson Tigers. Now I got a lot of flack for putting them 4th last year, but we'll see. My number 3 seed, the Roosevelt Rough Riders. My number 2 seed, the H.D. Woodson Warriors.
Wow. Okay, Chris, let's see.
And my number 1 seed, no surprise here, the Dunbar Crimson Tide. Say this, I think Rose and H.D. could flip-flop just like that. But if you're asking me right now,
this is for the Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl.
Okay. So Wilson's gonna be blue.
Yes. I believe
And is Dunbar undefeated?
so. On paper, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe so.
Is HD 1 loss?
Yes, but Roosevelt is gonna give them all that they can handle.
So, okay, now keep going. I want to hear the Turkey Bowl.
Now-
I'm sorry, the Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl. I'm gonna call it the Turkey Bowl. So, Turkey Bowl 51, if it is called that. My Turkey Bowl 51 matchup. It's the number 1 Dunbar Crimson Tide versus the number 2 seeded H.D. Woodson Warriors.
Okay, I'm about to say, Chris, I don't know if you're going back to Woodson no more. But you said Roosevelt can take them.
They can. Will they?
So you're saying that
They have to prove it to me.
they're gonna have that? So based on what you're saying, that Roosevelt and HD gonna play each other twice.
Yes.
And HD gonna beat them twice. Okay.
Yep. Now, let's say we get a situation where Roosevelt wins the first game. And let's say Roosevelt beats them on their homecoming. Then we may have to revisit some things.
This might be a TSDN game.
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely. All right, so my Turkey Bowl 51, or Egg Bowl, as you said,
Egg Bowl.
champions, the Dunbar Crimson Tide go back-to-back, and they secure their 2nd consecutive Stars Division Championship, backing up their Turkey Bowl 50 win with a Turkey Bowl 51 victory.
Wow.
Those are my predictions. So, man, there it is.
That's different. Should be interesting for you.
Yes, as it always is.
Please
Any questions as always?
Please do not blow my phone up. Do not constantly hear me about what he said. Now, if we're talking about Unison, we can talk that money.
Absolutely.
But about what he said is what he said.
So, all right, man. There's That's it. What's this, 4 years now? 17, 18, 19?
Yeah.
4 years of DCIAA football preview special. So for everybody out there watching, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. That's it. That's everything you need to know going into this season. Though it is going to start a little later than we all would want it to. Regardless of anything, as it always is, DCIAA football is going to be competitive and fun to watch. So, like I said, to all you student athletes out there, we know that you guys want to get on the field. We wanted to start on time. But with this COVID-19 experience that we're in, we just got to wait a little bit. Just got to be patient. Ain't that right, man?
That's all we got to do.
Yep.
Be patient and wash your hands.
That's true. Wash your hands and mask up. So, before we get out of here, I want everybody to make sure, if you already haven't, make sure you do it right now. Pound that subscribe button and hit the bell too, so you get updates throughout the entire DCIAA football and just the entire DCIAA athletic season, because we got you covered in every single facet of DCIAA sports, especially when we're talking about DCIAA football. Make sure you guys subscribe right here to TSDN, and you can also follow me on Twitter at _thatsportsdude. You can follow me on IG at _thatsportsdude_, Facebook at Chris Dunlap, that sports dude. And again, subscribe right here to TSDN for updates throughout the entire season. We got you covered. KP, tell them where they can get with you, man.
You can follow me on Instagram at big__KP. You can follow my business Instagram at Unison The Brand. You can follow my Twitter at big__KP, and the business on Twitter at Unison The Brand as well. Our website is unisontv.com, and you can find us on YouTube at Unison The Brand as well. We will do some highlights as well as some slight videos here and there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's always good love, so we good.
And like I said before, if you rocking with Unison, you already winning. I mean, just look back at last year. Football, basketball, they winning over there. So make sure y'all give them my man. So I think that's it for us, man. Anything before we get out of here?
Moving Unison.
That's it, man. Hey, as my man always said, and I usually always say, get your popcorn ready. Like I said, we might get a little bit of a late start, but it's still gonna be lit. Bruh, I appreciate you as always, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching.